My name is Roy Thompson and welcome to this RCM&E's Beginner's Guide to Electric Flight Safety. So you want to try learning to fly a radio controlled model aircraft and you fancy having a go at electric flight. The nice man in the model shop has sold you all the kit you're ever likely to need and you're ready to go. Now what I hope to do in this video is provide you with a little bit of knowledge so you can go out there and start to enjoy this hobby safely, saving you both money and heartache. The last thing you want to be doing is making all the same mistakes that we have. So if you can avoid some of the pitfalls at the start, then you're not going to get any nasty surprises if things go wrong. Okay, we'll start off with some basic safety points specifically aimed at electric flight, and then we'll move on to some more general points. Now the first and most important thing to understand with electric flight is that the instant you plug in your flight battery, your model is live, and it has the potential to transform itself from a dead airframe into one with all the controls moving and the motor running at full speed. Now normally that doesn't happen, but you must be prepared every time you plug in your flight battery. Now that leads us on nicely to my first safety tip.
Warning! Warning! Safety tip!
Plugging in your flight battery is nearly always a two-handed job. So you need some way to physically restrain the model to stop it from moving before it does something you're not expecting. Now I'll show you some examples of this in a moment, but whatever way you use, always remember to stay clear of the propeller. Now the second important thing to understand about electric motors is that they have a completely different characteristics to a conventional IC model engine. If you were to accidentally get your hand caught in the propeller with an IC engine, the chances are the motor would stall and stop. But an electric motor won't. It's going to try and turn harder and want to keep going until something gives, and hopefully that's not going to be your finger. So an electric motor has a greater potential to do you an injury compared to, say, its equivalent IC counterpart. But if you take that into account right from the start and treat electric models with a little bit of respect, then they're no more dangerous to operate than any other form of powered model aircraft. So please don't be put off by this. Now to help guard against the motor starting unexpectedly, all speed controllers today have an arming sequence, and this is a pre-programmed set of actions that you have to take before the motor will respond to the throttle control. This sequence may be different from one make of speed controller to another, so you need to make sure you know the sequence for your particular model. Right, so going back, how do we physically restrain the model? Here are a few examples.
Simply get somebody else to hold the model for you. Hopefully they'll be happier than this chap. Secondly, you could use a strong cord looped around the tail and pegged in securely behind the model. An alternative is two stakes securely banged into the ground, angled these slightly backwards to prevent the tail from rising up. How about this? The deluxe starting bench. These are just a few examples, but whichever method you use, make sure the model can't move forward unexpectedly.
Okay, so here comes safety tip number 2.
Warning! Warning! Safety tip!
You're ready to power your model for the first time. You want to make some checks of the radio and perhaps make some adjustments to the controls. First things first, remove the propeller. Take that off. Don't need it for the time being. You're not going flying anywhere. Alright. Power up your transmitter. Transmitter on first. Connect your flight battery. Does its arming sequence. Right. Now I can adjust the controls. Make my adjustments. And should I accidentally knock the throttle, don't much is going to happen. You're pretty safe. Now I'm assuming for this that your flight battery also powers your radio. This is through a battery elimination circuit, or BEC. Now there's an alternative way to set up your radio you could use. You could unplug your speed controller from the receiver, and if you've got a conventional receiver battery, plug that into the receiver instead. Then your radio is powered, you can make all the adjustments to your controls, and your motor's not going to run because it's not connected. Okay, next topic. Lithium polymer flight batteries, or Lipos. Lipos are widely used now in electric flight, and if you've bought an RTF, a ready-to-fly kit, the chances are it's come complete with its own Lipo battery and charger. Probably the most important thing from a safety point of view with a Lipo is overcharging. No, not how much the man in the shop charged you, the other sort of charging. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about lithium cells. That's a whole series of videos on their own. But what I am going to talk about is the worst case scenario. What could happen? Right, two things. First of all, you would damage the cells and reduce the useful life of the battery. So now you've got to go and buy a new one. Secondly, and probably the more important thing, is you run the risk of thermal runaway. And this means that the battery gets hotter and hotter until eventually you have a battery fire. So how do we avoid this?
Warning! Warning! Safety tip! Number 1. Only ever use a charger designed for lithium batteries, as lithiums have their own unique charging characteristics. If your battery and charger came as part of the kit, then you should be fine. Number 2. Always use cell balancing. That's what the small plug on the battery pack's for. Plug this into the balancing port of your charger, or into a secondary balancing device like one of these. The cell balancer monitors the individual cells and prevents them from overcharging.
Thirdly, make sure you understand the relationship between your battery size, its capacity, and its safe charging rate. For example, this battery is a 3,700 milliamp hour, or 3.7 amp hours in real money. It has a safe charging rate of 1C, and that's once times the capacity. So the maximum rate at which I can charge this, or set my charger to, is 3.7 amps, or 3,700 milliamps. And that would take about 40 minutes to an hour to recharge the battery. Now 1C is pretty common with the lithium batteries. Okay, so you're ready to charge the battery. Never charge it in the model, and if you can, keep it in a fireproof container or use one of these fireproof bags. These are readily available from model shops and online. Always keep an eye on the battery. Never leave it unattended while it's charging. And if you see something wrong, stop the charge immediately. And please read the instructions that come with the batteries. Okay, so please don't be put off by lithium batteries. We use them every day on our mobile phones. And when was the last time yours burst into flames? Right, I'm running a bit short on time now, but there are a few other general safety points that I want to cover before we finish. Okay, first off, when you take your model out flying, try and get into a routine of doing checks. Check the model over for damage. Check the control surfaces, make sure they're secure, haven't come loose. Also, check the propeller for damage, and if you find anything wrong, don't fly, fix it. Okay, then restrain your model, switch on your transmitter, connect your flight battery, check the radio is working, check the range of the radio, and importantly, make sure the controls all go in the right direction. Okay. And my last safety tip, join a local model club. Make yourself a bit of a pest, ask lots of questions. How does this work? Why does that do that? Can you show me how to do this? Those sort of things. Okay, that's about all I've got time for. But if you'd like any more help and information, click on the More Info button in the sidebar, and there you will find links to the British Model Flying Association. There you'll find links to their members' handbook. Don't worry if you're not a member. This is a great source of information. Also in the sidebar links to the RCM&E website, where there's lots more information, lots more help to be had, and a forum. So if you want any questions, ask them in the forum. There's always going to be someone who's going to come back with an answer. Also, you'll see a subscribe button. Click on the subscribe button, and then the next time a beginner's video is posted on the RCM&E site, you'll get a notification. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Fly safely, and I hope to see you again sometime. Bye bye.